everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Rubbin' Is Racing Daily Fantasy NASCAR Show, brought to you by FantasyDonks.com, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know to start playing daily fantasy sports. I'm Sean Big Papa Williams.
I'm Jamie Learjet Lear.
And we'll be bringing you our breakdown of the Camping World 500 at Talladega Superspeedway. We return to restrictor plate racing this week. So basically, no matter how much work you put in, it's all about avoiding the big one.
Right.
With this week's track breakdown, we'll throw it over to Lear and let us hear a little bit more information about the Superspeedway.
All right. Thanks, Papa. So this week, the CampingWorld.com 500 from Talladega Superspeedway. It's located in Lincoln, Alabama. It's just north of Talladega. Track is longest track that they have on the circuit here. It's 2.66 miles in length, 188 laps to get this bad boy done. Average number of cautions here is about 6. With obviously this track, a lot of drafting, a lot of grouping of cars together, and sometimes it could be as many as 3 wide when they first start the race or the restarts. It's a tri-oval track where turns 1 and 2 are 33 degrees, turns 3 and 4 are 32 degrees. These guys will be carrying speeds over 200 miles an hour in the turns here. This is a multiple groove track. Should provide for some great racing. And obviously, like we talked about just a little bit, there's going to be the big boy that's going to happen, which usually you can count on that taking out, 10 to 15 drivers with people just being in the way. The race takes place tomorrow on Sunday, October the 25th at 2 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. Weather is going to be about 79 degrees, cloudy. There is a 20% chance of precipitation, so might have a little bit of rain, and wind will be east at 4 miles an hour. So
yeah, I think it's just going to depend from the weather radar I've seen whether or not that moisture system from the hurricane extends over in Alabama.
Yeah. And
if it gets caught up in race time, it could mean we have a rain-shortened race, which once again just adds to the cluster screw of trying to figure out
who are you going to take in this race.
Right. And with that said, guys, I think it transitions us fairly well into the Burning Rubber segment.
Yeah, Burning Rubber, baby!
And my first Burning Rubber pick this week should surprise no one that's watched qualifying. It's Jeff Gordon, and he's $9,600. The guy owns the super speedways in his career. We've talked about how sweet it would be for him to finish out strong in the chase and take it down. He really needs a win here to advance on. Actually, he really needs a third place and to at least lead a lap or to qualify first. He already did that. So he needs third or better to guarantee himself with a spot into the next round. So I think it's very doable here. And as good as he's running, it should be a cakewalk. He has 6 wins here at Talladega, 15 top 5s, 19 top 10s, and 4 poles, including this one, in which he qualified at 0.2 of a second faster than the second fastest car. That's an actual huge margin at a super speedway, and it should mean that he's going to get us plenty of laps led points and plenty of fastest laps points. I think it's as easy as it could get for you for Gordon, as long as he avoids getting caught up in the big one or avoids a bad pit, which gets him in the middle of the big one.
His pit crew has not helped him out this year, so hopefully they've got those kinks worked out.
Yeah, but it's not just him. It's the rest of the Hendrick drivers as well. I mean, Hendrick qualified for the top 5 spots.
Just dominating qualifying.
They look like they're ready to run here, and I love all the Hendrick guys, but I'm banking on Jeff Gordon getting it done this week.
I hear you.
With that said, Lear, who's your first guy to burn some rubber this week?
So my first burning rubber guy this week is Martin Truex Jr.
Love it.
Truex over the years has raced Talladega 21 previous times. He's a decent restrictor plate racer. The benefits for Truex this week are his cost, which he's only $8,400, and he's starting 43rd, which is almost at the tail end of the field. Which they are racing 45 cars this week, which is 2 more than what they normally do. But over his last 4 races here, he started 4th, 43rd, 12th, and 36th. With finishes of 8th, 17th, 27th, and 5th back in the spring here at the Geico 500. He's starting 43rd, like we said, is going due to going below the double yellow line during qualifying today. But was running 3rd fastest at the time.
Dude, he was fast.
So he's has the possibility of having a good finish for place differential here. He's not going to hurt you overall in your lineup because of his cost. He's basically my free play or my free space this weekend for his cost, where he's at, and how fast he's running in qualifying.
No, I agree. I think that if you're not at his price tag and where he's starting off and how good he looked, like without going below the double yellow line and getting knocked back, I think it's almost criminal not to have him on your lineup this week. And unless he gets caught up in the big one, like you were going to.
That could happen with you starting at the end of the tail end of the line.
With that, it's just as likely that the guys in the front pack, middle pack, and back.
And it can happen anywhere.
It just depends on any race, when it happens in this race. I just, I'm just a huge fan of Truex Jr. this week, and I have him on my lineup. I love that play.
Nice.
My next play for you this week is Trevor Bayne at 6,500. The argument here is he's just criminally underpriced for what he's been doing on the NASCAR track as of late. And consider me on the Bayne train until either DraftKings prices him up to where he should be, or he starts running poorly. And I don't think these Roush Fenway cars are doing that. I think they're getting better every week. We seem to have seen that they have good history at these at the super speedways.
Yeah.
I think Bayne qualifying 6th is just a guy that has a chance to run up near the front, has a chance to be one of the fastest cars on the track. And the way I'm really breaking this down is I think that since he's the top Ford, that if the Hendricks cars have a pit mismanagement, right, where the group of them pits at the wrong time, Trevor Bayne could be the easy beneficiary of it.
Sure.
And that's why I love him at the $6,500 price tag.
Plus, our boy Adrian Woodruff will be actually, I think, watching him this week live at Talladega. So hope you have a good time, Adrian.
Wish we could be there with you.
Yeah. But as far as Trevor Bayne goes, man, I mean, this cat's got a Daytona 500 victory underneath his belt. A lot of this, with the restrictor tracks, does come a little bit of luck comes into play there too. But with his cost, $6,500, you can't really beat that price for a guy that has an actual chance to win the race. So,
and outside people that actually follow NASCAR and play daily fantasy NASCAR on a regular basis, he's a guy that most people do not know and do not plug in lineups. His ownership percentage is criminally under what it should be.
Yeah.
Like every week, I love the Bayne play normally. I'm really on it this week. I think he's going to do great things if you put him in your lineups. With that said, Lear, who's your second guy to burn some rubber this week?
My second burning rubber guy this week is Kevin Harvick. He's currently sitting 5th in the race for the Chase Cup standings. This week he starts 7th. He's an average kind of restrictor plate racer. These aren't usually his very strong tracks. But his cost this week is way down from his usual price point. This week he's only $9,700. His last 4 races here, he started 33rd, 8th, 39th, and 24th with finishes of 12th, 7th, 9th, and 8th. So all single-digit finishes there with double-digit starts. So some really good, place differential there as of late. He has 1 victory here overall and is in the mix, obviously, for the championship. And I'm all over the Stewart-Haas guys this week as my team, and to basically swerve a little bit against the Hendrick drivers. But they should all run great, because they do have those Hendrick motors in their vehicles.
Right.
But I definitely like Kevin Harvick this week, especially too since he's a contender. And when I can get him for under 10K, I'm going to be all over it.
Yeah, I actually like the Harvick play. The problem for me this week and the why I didn't go with Harvick is he's just grouped in a chunk of drivers that I really like this week that are all priced remotely the same. You've got Kenseth in that group. You've got Kane. You've got Keselowski, Logano, Hamlin. They're all in that
all top guys there.
Right, all in that 9K plus grouping.
Yeah.
And I don't know which one of them I'd rather have. And I mean, with race trends and everything, I'm leaning towards Logano. But these are the picks that make or break you.
Right, exactly.
And what you'll see is my lineup. Actually, I was able to kind of fade this Aereo guy because of what I paid for and what I didn't pay for.
Sure.
But I like the play. I like where your head's at. I just think it's interesting. We should point out to our viewers, this is the first time in forever that we haven't talked about a JGR car.
I know.
And I think
we've been on them pretty much every single week.
Well, and rightfully so far. The problem is these JGR cars aren't looking as fast as the rest of the cars. And literally the only way I see JGR as a team or their multiple cars dominating is if they somehow avoid the big one.
Yeah.
They just don't look as clean as the Hendrick cars or as the Roush Fenway cars, in my opinion.
Yeah, and restrictor plate tracks are just not really have not been historically their forte as far as their strong point in their systems. So.
Maybe something with the Toyotas.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it just doesn't seem like
the
they
Chevys
have
seem to do very well here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's they do. And the Fords haven't had that bad of an issue, especially as of late.
So,
which
American made.
Yep. Which leads me to the going to the garage segment. And I need to preface this. Every week we tell you the going to the garage doesn't mean we're sure this guy's going to wreck. It could mean that the person's price wrong. Could mean that too many people are going to be on them. And my first going to the garage pick is one that I've been torn about. But I really wanted to have this conversation with you guys that watch this show. My going to the garage is Dale Jr., and I want to completely disclose before I get started. He will be on half of my lineups, and on the other half, I will have nothing to do with him. The reason why is he's priced at $11,200, which just makes him crazy expensive and really cripples what you can do with your lineups. I mean, let's think about it. At the $11,200, he's just a few $100s off of being 2 Trevor Baynes.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And that's the real problem. But
it really handicaps it.
When we factor in that and the fact that the ownership issues on Dale, we've talked about this multiple times, Dale Jr. seems to carry a higher ownership percentage than he should, regardless of the track, because of his name and because of like fandom. That creates problems for me in DFS. The reason why I'm just not avoiding him as a whole is he is dominating these restrictor plate races, not just this year where he's won 3 of the 4, like this will be the 4th, and has a chance to do something that only his father's done. Only Dale Earnhardt Sr. is the only other driver to sweep the restrictor plate racing in a season. I mean, if you love storylines and narrative, you really want to be on it for that, but his price is just outrageous. And as much as I want to fade him because his price is ridiculous, I'm not sure I can because as good as he runs in these races. So, I like I said, guys, he's my go to the garage play because if you're running multiple lineups, at least part of your lineups you need to run the fade on him. And I have no problem if you're running a single lineup running the fade on Dale Jr. because of his price. But if you're running at least 2 lineups, one of them has to have Dale Jr. on it.
I think so too. I mean, he qualified 5th. He's just he always runs strong here, and obviously he's proven that he can do well here. So I just for $11,200, man, I can't do it just because I've got vested interest in having a more diverse team instead of just spending it on one driver. So.
It kills you. It really does. And the problem is, dude, if he works his way from 5th to 1st and wins this, and you don't have him,
right, you're screwed. You're done. Have a nice day.
So that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
And that's why I put him on the going to the garage. Because, guys, you need to be aware, he really is cost prohibitive unless he wins the race and needs some laps. And the problem is he has a strong likelihood to do it, as he is the odds-on Vegas favorite to win this race as well. So
we say enter 2 lineups, one with, one without.
Yeah. So who's your next guy? Who's your guy to go to the garage this week, Lear?
My going to the garage guy this week is number 20, Matt Kenseth. Kenseth has not been performing well here of lately, and he's on the brink of missing the race for the chase. His last 4 races here at Talladega, he's finished well with negative place differential. Starting the last 4 races, he started 12th, 21st, 13th, and 8th, with finishes of 20th from the 12th hole, finishing 37th from the 21st hole, finishing 2nd when he started 13th. So positive there. And then the last one, he finished 25th after starting 8th. So some really, really negative place differential for Matt Kenseth. So with his cost of $9,900, he is starting 4th this week. But I look for him to fade into the night into the field. And JGR, like we talked about a little bit earlier, they didn't qualify very well today as a team, but historically they just don't do very well here at restrictor plate tracks. So I am off the Kenseth train, and thanks for playing in 2015, Matt Kenseth, and good luck in 2016, sir.
No, and anybody that's watched the show knows my love for the JGR team
Yep.
and what they've done this season. It's unreal, but they just don't function well here. And
No.
I'm sorry, I don't want to use what little salary I do have on JGR guys.
Yeah.
The odds are not going to finish well.
Yeah.
But with that said, they'll probably just destroy it this week. This is the only week I don't have them all.
Sometimes that happens.
It
Unfortunately.
It does. But guys, with that said, it wraps up our Who's Going to the Garage segment and brings us to my personal favorite segment of the show, which is we are the only show in the industry that gives you an actual lineup that we are running in contest. This is both of our lineups and the 8K lug nut. As we keep seeing NASCAR grow with the chase,
Yeah.
they keep growing the prize pool. We're up to the 8K mark
Take it.
on the $5 entry. And my $5 team consists, I'll just start off. You guys all know I have Jeff Gordon on this team at 9,600. I'll just go ahead and tell you, this is a team where I went and put Dale Earnhardt Jr. on it at 11-2.
Nice.
I mean, sometimes you just have to grab it and sack up, and I think this is the week where you kind of have to do that. So my two favorite cars this week are those guys. And then I paid for Martin Truex Jr. at 8,400, starting from the back of the pack. I just, you gotta love a guy that can only possibly get you
Yes.
positive points.
And he's a big name player, and he's still in the
Not
chase.
only that, but he was in a fast car.
Yeah.
It's almost like they intentionally drove below the line so they could stay back. Because there is that strategy at this track, that there are drivers and teams that are like, well, we know we have a fast car. Let's just stay in the back so we can watch it all happen. Then once it happens, we'll let down the pedal.
Yeah. No,
And
definitely.
I'm not sure that's not what they did here. And it criminally looks like that's what they did. But I love him at that price and with the potential. So to get those guys, I had to make a few financial sacrifices. I don't view it as a big one. Getting Trevor Bayne at the 6,500, I love that play, as I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
But then I value bought Ryan Blaney at 5,800. Now, he qualified ninth. He looks good on this track. He's doing good things with the Wood Brothers team,
Yep.
and they've set up to run well on the restrictor plate tracks, as they think that that's their best shot to get good sponsorship to be able to run Blaney full time next year.
That's who
their
Trevor
ultimate
Bayne
goal.
won with at the
Yes.
Daytona 500. So in the
Exactly.
21 Wood Brothers.
Exactly, it's the exact same car.
Yep.
Like just different paint scheme. I like Blaney to do really well here, and at that price tag, he should be able to keep in a top 10 finish as long as the top 10 are not the group that gets into the big one. I just think that he's in a fast car. He's motivated to get a sponsorship and to lock down a full. I mean, you're talking about getting bumped to a full run on the
Right.
NASCAR circuit
Yeah.
and locking that down for both of the Wood brothers and for him. That's a huge deal for both of them.
And
I
when
think they're going
And
all
when
out.
he's been, racing this year, man, he's done very, very well
Yes.
for a young guy.
Mhm.
And I really do like me some Ryan Blaney this week,
I
too.
mean-
I also have him on my team. So
Right, and at 5,800,
15, yeah, you can't
the
avoid
guy's averaging over 23 points a race, and he would be doing a lot better in the Southern 500,
Yeah.
where the car, it was a record car issue that knocked him. That's literally his only negative race in recent racing
Yeah.
history. Everything else has been 30 plus, and I just love that out of a 5,800 guy.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I then went ahead and I decided to save some more big money with Menard. See what I did there? Save big money. Yeah. He's 7,900, and to be honest, he's just a solid driver that tends to run well on these on the restrictor plate track, and he qualified well. He's in the 13th hole. He's in the middle of that group of Chevys that we like, and I have zero problems putting him on there to round out my lineup, and that's the lineup I'm rolling with in the AK kids, and I feel really comfortable with it for his
nice.
age,
I like it too, man.
especially for having to spend up for
Earnhardt. Yeah,
like.
it's a nice, solid, rounded lineup
Yeah.
for that.
So with that said, like granted, I will have other lineups even in the 5K, but that's the one that I definitely am running and want to share with you guys. I just like it and let you know you can buy the top guy without sacrificing
For sure.
your lineup. So Lear, what does your lineup look like this week?
My lineup is Martin Truex Jr. at the 8,400 price point. My first burner rubber guy, second burner rubber guy, Kevin Harvick at 9,700. Then I'm going to roll with another Hendrick guy. Love me some Jimmy Johnson this week.
Okay.
He's 10,100, so he's just over that $10,000 price point. He's one of the higher, priced guys this week, but he's dominated at Talladega. He's won 2 times here in 27 career starts. 25% of those starts, he's finished in the top 5. So good odds right there. Hendrick cars, were fast. Qualified 4th out of the top 5. So he should dominate all day, being, caught up with hopefully not being caught up in a wreck. But I look for Jimmy Johnson to possibly take it home.
Dude, I actually love this play, and to be honest, I think it's the smart swerve when you're not, when you're not rostering Earnhardt Jr. Because most people, I think, when they don't roster Earnhardt Jr., are going to also not roster Jimmy Johnson because he's only $1,000 cheaper. Right. I think they're going to try to get more into the value group with the Harvicks of the world and the Gordons, and they'll try to spend in that range instead. Yeah. And I just think that if you're saying I don't want to spend on Junior because of his price, I'm going to then swerve to the other driver for Hendrick that I like just as well. I have no problem. And what's really weird and what's unfortunate is it's really mathematically impossible to stack Johnson with Earnhardt Jr. Yeah. We tried to do it, and you just don't have enough juice or firepower left. So how's the rest of your team looking?
Ryan Blaney, we talked about him already a little bit, 5,800. Qualified semi-high at the 9th position, but he had a nice finish here in the Geico 500 here in the spring. He finished 4th after qualifying 3rd. So just, 1 spot down. So pretty good in that situation. And just his price point is just unbelievable. It's criminal.
He's like the non-punt play. It's great. And what I find amazing is that you and I didn't talk about this pick at all beforehand, and somehow he's in both of our lineups for the exact same reasons. Maybe we're starting to get that synergistic, because how many weeks earlier in the season was it part of my lineup, part of your lineup together would have won the tournament, and now we're seeming to find the same value guys, which is really interesting to me.
So, and then the rest of my team, like I said, I am all over Stewart-Haas this week. So my next driver is Kurt Busch. He's $8,700. He's, still challenging to stay, in the race for the chase, sitting 3rd currently in the standings. He's got a nice average as far as, his contender here at Talladega, starting in the 12th spot. He's raced 29 times here, finishing in the top 5, 20% of the time. His average start is 21st with average finish of 17, so he always has some good positive place differential. And as of late, he's had some really good positive place differential, 3 out of the 4 last races. And he will also have that Hendrick motor. So I'm liking me some Kurt Busch this week.
All right, so clearly your final driver has to be Danica, right? You're all about Stewart-Haas.
Yeah. So I'm rolling with the male version, Danica Patrick, of Tony Stewart.
Oh, okay.
At $6,900. But Stewart, as far as him, he's obviously retiring after the 2016 season. So his number of races here are numbered. So he wants to finish out good. He's marking them off each time he finishes one. But this is one of those races that he has to win, and he has a good history here at Talladega and the restrictor plate racing. He's raced here 32 times with 9 top 5 finishes, which is 28% of the time. He starts 19th this week. He did lead 6 laps in the spring at the Geico 500. His cost is a good price point at $6,900 for a semi-named guy who's long in the tooth, but he still has chances to win, because he still gets the same equipment as these other guys. So, but I hope he takes it home this week and is own 3%.
Here's my only problem with Smoke this week, and we've been over it. I have not seen him running like the Smoke of old at all this season, and he hasn't been right ever since he accidentally killed that guy, and in all honesty, with your logic and reasoning, I'd rather roll Danica than Tony this week. Just because I feel like with the arguments we're making about the cars and how good they're set up and how well they should run, I just feel like I don't have the bag of problems with her that I do with Tony.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But as far as that concerned, I like Tony Stewart because I just think that at his price point, and then I don't think a lot of people are going to be on him either, just because of who he is and what he's been doing. And when was the last time Tony Stewart actually won a race? I couldn't even really tell you. Unfortunately, I did not do that research before the show,
Yeah.
but I cannot think of it. And I know it's been way too long. And Destiny likes to kick in every
Fair
once in a
enough.
while,
Fair
so.
enough. Yeah, but like if I'm going with narrative storylines, I'm not gonna go with that one.
I hear you.
I'm gonna go with Gordon Earnhardt Jr.'s this week. So that's the route I'm going. But I do like that.
But I had to have somebody at a semi-low price point to finish out my rounder of teams. So
yeah, no, I like it. I just like I said, my one play would be I would swerve from him to Danica, and I know she doesn't have a decent history here, but she was running just as good as Smoke was in qualifying. Yeah. And like I said, I don't have to deal with her being a head case at this point.
Sure.
And I'm not sure he's not, and I'm not sure he doesn't freak out when he sees cars getting close and stuff. Now it's just not the Smoke of old.
Yeah, I hear you.
With that said, guys, it wraps up another episode of the Rubbin' Is Racing Daily Fantasy NASCAR Show. Remember to check out and support FantasyDonks.com. Remember to like, favorite, share, and what, Lear?
Subscribe.
Yes, that's Lear always likes to say. To YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We love you guys. Thanks for supporting our show. And with that said, we wanted to congratulate
Kansas City, baby.
Our Royals. We know it's a
World
NASCAR
Series.
show, but we got to represent back-to-back years in the World Series after being the laughing stock of baseball for so long. It is a great moment to be a Kansas City fan, and we're super excited, so we want to share that with you guys as well.
Definitely.
And we're going to take this World Series from the Mets. It's just going to happen.
Hell yeah, man.
So with that said, guys, hopefully we make some money this week, and hopefully you make some money too. And have a great one, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Have a great weekend, everybody.